5 budget-friendly Android phones worth checking out in 2024. Phones don't last forever. Whether continued software updates eventually become too taxing on the current hardware or it succumbs to any number of physical defects, the need for a new phone is inevitable. With that comes the daunting task of browsing a library of devices where the least expensive option appears to be in the mid-$800 range. Thankfully, that wall of $1,000 plus iPhones and Samsung Galaxy models is just what the phone companies push, and hidden beneath it, a page or two in, are more affordable models, if you prefer a less restrictive device that offers a greater range of customization and more intuitive file storage. You'll want to shop through phones running on Android. While even newer Samsung Galaxy phones tend to run cheaper than Apple's iPhone, hovering around a $600 to $700 price tag, you can still find feature-rich alternatives. When shopping for your next smartphone, try to keep a little extra cash in your wallet by choosing from these 5 budget-friendly Android phones. OnePlus Nord N35G. OnePlus isn't among the best-known Android phones on the US market, however, it's made a name for itself as a reliable option when you're not looking to pay for one of the big players. The OnePlus Nord N35G is a fine example of how the Chinese-based brand has enamored users and caters to a broader range of consumers looking for comparable performance at an appropriate price. Stocked with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 695 processor, 128GB of storage, and 8GB of RAM, this 6.5-inch Android device is made for pulling off the basic tasks you need without a hiccup. It's even powerful enough for gaming, which you may want to take advantage of considering the big, beautiful 400 by 1080 pixel, 240Hz response screen. Where OnePlus saves some money is in its camera, which is fine for its $300 price tag but won't win you any awards. The 108MP main lens is great for a budget device, though low-light photography is not its strong point. You may enjoy the 5000 mAh battery, which should last about 12 hours at moderate use. For a budget phone, it's not bad, but the lack of wireless charging is certainly disappointing. Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. It may be unfathomable to think of buying a phone for less than $200, let alone a decent phone from a recognizable brand. Samsung's Galaxy line is chock full of premium smartphones, but the Galaxy A14 5G scales things back a bit in price and performance, just enough to cater to the budget-conscious user while remaining relevant. Shipped with 64GB of storage and 4GB RAM and powered by Samsung's Exynos 1330 SoC processor to run Android 13 out of the box, the A14 is a fairly basic entry. When it launched in January 2023, Samsung promised 4 years of Android updates, so there's plenty of life in the low-cost model, especially since it supports Bluetooth 5.2 and Wi-Fi 5. Its 6.6-inch LCD panel tops out at a 90Hz refresh rate, so don't expect the same response time you'd get with a costlier Galaxy S23. Unfortunately, Samsung cut a few corners, removing any semblance of waterproofing, though the trade-off is a dedicated headphone jack. Google Pixel 7a. Google's line of Pixel phones tends to undercut higher-end Samsung and Apple devices without sacrificing quality. The tech conglomerate doubles down on its ability to do this with the Google Pixel 7a, a budget-friendly iteration of its Pixel 7. Whereas many cheaper Android devices have to sacrifice luxuries like wireless charging, Google kept a few features around in exchange for a $500 price tag. While that may seem like a lot for a budget-friendly phone, what the 7a delivers balances value and cost quite well. The Pixel 7a features a 6.1-inch screen capable of achieving a 90Hz refresh rate, a sizable leap from the 6a's 60Hz. You'll enjoy the clarity of Google Pixel's higher-end phones without that near $1,000 price, and with 128GB storage and 8GB RAM, there's plenty of performance to game and stream. One of the biggest sacrifices with most budget Android phones is the camera. Google did what it had to for a 65MP primary lens, which is 14MP more than the 7 or 7 Pro camera. You'll sacrifice things like a greater field of view and pixel width, but the image clarity is impressive for the price. The 7a does take a bit of a hit with its 4,385 mAh battery capacity, which is on the smaller side, considering it is on the higher end of affordable phones. Then again, it charges fast so that the difference may be negligible. Samsung Galaxy A54. If the Samsung Galaxy A14 is an entry-level phone, the Galaxy A54 is the device you upgrade to when you're ready for a change. At a $450 price tag, the A54 is still a consumer-friendly device, and it has some nice bells and whistles expected of Samsung's flagship devices. If you can overlook the amount of bloat included with the A54 out of the box, you're in for a device that should take you far. Just note, though, that the overlap of Google and Samsung dedicated apps is unavoidable, and most can't be disabled. The few hiccups this can cause can be justified by looking at the rest of the package: a 6.4-inch device made from durable Gorilla Glass 5 and equipped with either 6 or 8 GB RAM and either 128 or 256 GB of storage. Need to expand your available storage? The A54 features a microSD slot compatible with up to 1 TB cards. Though you can find budget phones with cameras that support more than 50 MP, the A54 handles itself well in the photography department with a 5 MP macro lens and 32 MP selfie lens. The camera has a good amount of hardware support, so expect to take higher quality images than you may expect at this price. The A54 even surpasses the Pixel 7a in battery capacity, with a 5000 mAh battery that's sure to last you the day. Motorola Moto G Pure. Low-cost Motorola phones tend to dip too low in quality to warrant consideration. However, the Moto G Pure is a surprising exception to the rule that can deliver just the performance you need at less than $160. Granted, it's not a device that will go far beyond very basic applications, but if that's all you're looking for, there's plenty here to warrant the purchase. The Moto G Pure is strictly for users wanting a very affordable option that focuses on the essentials, as its 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB of internal storage aren't great for more advanced applications. You won't be stockpiling photos or running games, but the octa-core MediaTek Helio G25 processor is more than enough to make this a functional, affordable smartphone great for phone calls, SMS messaging, and light internet browsing. You may think the 4000 mAh battery capacity is small, but considering this isn't a multitasking device, you can expect a charge to last a little over a day. The Moto G Pure's shining facet is its simplicity, though the 3.5mm headphone jack, expandable microSD storage, and multiple wireless connectivity options certainly help sell it. How we chose these 5 best friendly Android phones. There were 2 primary points of research that we felt were most important when deciding which phones to include. The first was our staff's personal experience with each one. Though we had conflicting opinions on the OnePlus Nord N30 compared to other outlets, our other 4 choices were met with a favorable response from one of our knowledgeable authors. Our secondary outlet for research was the respected Android resource Android Police, a website dedicated specifically to Android-based devices. We used Android Police to support the choices based on our experience and as the tipping point for landing on the OnePlus Nord N30.